Well, this is not how I imagine this year going. Like many of you, I'm practicing social distancing right now. I'm here in the friary self-quarantining, actually. I'm not sick, and as far as I know, I haven't come in contact with a sick person, but I did have to travel through JFK and Atlanta airports on Saturday, and given the amount of contact I have with elderly people as a priest, it is the safe and right thing to do. So here I am, a newly ordained priest, stuck in my house, not able to celebrate the sacraments or even interact with people. But really, who would I interact with even if I were allowed to go out? The University of Georgia, like most schools, decided last week while the students were on spring break to extend spring break for an additional 2 weeks, and then to move all classes online. Right now, I'm a campus minister with no students. There are, of course, many non-students that come to our church, nearly 800 families, so normally there would be plenty else to do, had the bishop not canceled all masses until Palm Sunday. Which is absolutely the right thing to do, don't get me wrong. I 100% support this decision as a means of limiting the spread of the virus. It is our duty as Catholics to uphold the common good and to care for not only the spiritual well-being of the person, but also the physical and social well-being as well. We must, for a few weeks, close down all of our gatherings at our churches, and I exhort bishops to follow suit. Yes, I agree that our first priority must be to keep people from getting sick. It's just not how I imagined my first year as a priest going. Because remember, this situation isn't happening in a vacuum. It's not like I'm being quarantined for a few weeks, things will be a struggle for a few months, and then everything will go back to normal. No. In a few weeks, I'm leaving. In case you forgot, or you're new to the channel, I announced in January that the Franciscans would be leaving the University of Georgia at the end of the school year. We just don't have enough guys to sustain the mission anymore. Which means, when the announcement came that schools would be shutting down while we were already on spring break, the reality of the situation hit me like a ton of bricks. Not only do I have to leave these students who I was just starting to get to know, by the time they come back, I'm gonna be gone. I'm not even going to get to say goodbye to them. There will be no end of the year party, no final meeting with the student leaders, no final mass, no final homily, no last opportunity to offer blessing and peace. If the announcement 2 months ago was like having the rug pulled out from under me, this announcement is like getting punched in the gut as I try to get back up. It's just... The consolation a few months ago was that I'd be able to travel the country this summer on a speaking tour, 22 locations, 14,000 miles, something that I was really excited for. But at this point, we'll just have to wait and see. That might have to get canceled as well. But again, I do not disagree with these decisions. This is an extremely serious situation, and I think drastic measures do need to be taken. People are getting sick, many are dying. These things need to happen. I fully support the university's decision, the guidelines set by the CDC. All of it is absolutely what we all need to be doing. But it doesn't make it any less easy. Beyond my own disappointment, I think of the seniors this year who had their final 2 months of college taken away from them, who didn't get to say goodbye to their friends and professors, who had to cancel their pilgrimage to Italy, who may not even get a graduation. You can take the situation seriously and make public health your utmost priority, while also being disappointed. In the grand scheme of things, is it as tragic as a worldwide pandemic or losing loved ones to a virus? Of course not. They're on completely different levels, not even close. But it's still a tragedy in its own right. So what do we do about it? Trapped in our houses, how do we cope with the disappointment? How do we reconcile the way we thought things should go with the way things actually are? For me, it's a stark reminder of one of the most important principles of being a Franciscan, sine proprio. Literally translated, it simply means without property, and that's part of it. Francis wanted his brothers to live with nothing of our own, so to trust completely in God. But there's more to it than just physical possessions. When Francis said sine proprio, what he meant was that the friars were not to appropriate anything for themselves. They were not to grasp onto or cling to anything as their own, stake a claim on something as exclusively or rightfully ours. The more dynamic translation, without appropriation, reminds us that we are not to become attached to anything. Not possessions, but also not our ministries, our houses, our places in the world, even our relationships. I signed up for this life, not to possess anything, but to go where I'm needed, to serve the Lord in humility and simplicity. As easy as this might seem in physical possessions, I'm not driving a fancy car or spending lots of money. It's times like these where I need to remind myself that nothing is mine to possess. It kills me that I have to leave this ministry. It makes me absolutely sick that I won't get to say goodbye to so many people that have shaped my first year as a priest. I want to stay. I want to hold on to what I've got here, to keep it for myself, telling myself that I've been robbed, that I deserve this or that, and it's been taken away from me. But that's not a very Franciscan perspective. This ministry is not mine. These relationships are not mine to possess. I was sent here to serve, not to be served. When it's my time, I'll go, taking nothing with me, sine proprio. Do not appropriate anything for myself. Live with spiritual detachment so as to trust solely in the Lord. This is the life I signed up for, and so I have no one to blame but myself. Ideals mean nothing unless they are lived, unless they involve sacrifice, and so I hope that you do not take this video as just one long complaint. This is the life of a disciple, and it's exactly what I want. My hope in sharing this is that it might bring a bit of consolation and direction in this trying time. There is no doubt that each and every one of us is dealing with immense disappointment, if not outright tragedy. No one imagined what we are dealing with for their own life, but it is the life we have. Like it or not, this is the world that we have right now, and so there's no real use in crying over what we had hoped for, what we feel was taken away from us. The fact of the matter is that it wasn't ours in the first place. Our health, freedom, time, leisure, relationships, possessions, hopes and dreams for the future, they're nothing more than gifts that we must enjoy when we have them and move forward when we don't. If you're watching this, that means you're still alive. Give God thanks for that. If you're watching this, it means you still have the internet, so at least there's YouTube and Netflix. Give thanks for that. If you're watching this, that means you have time to kill, which means you have time to call a friend, time to read that book you've been putting off, time to spend with your family, time to pray. No, this is not how I imagined my year going, and I'm guessing the same is true for you. But maybe that's just the reminder we need to detach ourselves a bit more from what we imagine. Sine proprio. The more we appropriate things for ourselves that aren't real, or get hung up pouting over things that we feel have been taken away from us, the less we'll be able to see the opportunity to be a Christian right in front of us. You may not be a Franciscan, but I hope that this little dip into Franciscan spirituality will help you in the coming days and months. Peace and good to you. As a final note, I'm probably going to be taking a little break from making videos. Besides the fact that I can't get to my office or studio, I think it's important in the midst of everything to take a little time to step back and reflect. I still have 4 more Friday reflections that are already filmed, but it might be a few weeks before the next video. Until then, God bless and wash your hands.